Almost all images you see in magazines these days have been retouched. So I wanted to show you how some of that is done, and so you can try it out for yourself as well. So the first process is that we are going to look at this lovely young lady, and we're going to see where there are issues that we want to deal with. So we have wrinkles in various places, some darker creases that we might want to get rid of, narrow lips that we might even make a little fuller. So let's see what we can do. So first of all, I'm going to make a copy of her just in case, so that if I do anything to make destruction, I can go back to an original image. So it's just never a bad idea. And for most of the things we're going to do, we're going to be working with a bunch of layers. So I'm going to create a new layer, first of all. And the very first thing I'm doing is I'm going to look at the blemishes here that look a little bit like age marks. So I'm going to use the healing brush. So I'm going to use this little band-aid one here. That's the spot healing brush tool. And I'm going to click up here on sample all layers. What that allows me to do is it allows me to actually sample what's underneath but draw onto this new layer. So by clicking on here, I'm going to make it a little bit larger that I'm going to work with. Sometimes the larger one will work better. Sometimes the smaller one will look better. But this is picking up from around the spot, and I'm just getting rid of those slightly purple marks that she had on her cheeks. So that's just one, and I'm just call this blemishes. Blemishes. Okay, that's our first layer, and that's all I'm going to do on that one layer. So now I'm going to create another layer, and I'm going to work around her mouth. So I'm going to call this mouth. Oops, not moth, but mouth. Okay, and so I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to use the clone stamp again and healing brush, and I'm going to click on here and try and get rid of some of the wrinkles. Now, did you know, I don't know if you just noticed, but if I click on here, it's pulling up too much of the red that I did not want here. So I'm going to press Ctrl Z. I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to click on a couple more just to get some more of the wrinkles around her mouth cleaned up a little bit, and I'm going to clean up some of these wrinkles in here as well. That's not too bad already. So if I go here, that's not too bad. I still want her to have a bit of a crease, but not too much. And let's see what it does over here. Here it does some strange things. So we're going to go back, window in our history. We can go back a couple steps in our cloning tool to make sure that we don't change the shape of her face. Now there's another tool that we can use, and that's the clone stamping tool. So for the clone stamping tool, what you do is you hold down, and I'm going to make it a little smaller. I'm going to make the brush a little smaller. And with that, when you hold down your Alt key, you get a target like this. You can say, okay, I want to pick up this color over here, up here. And now when you draw, it actually draws the points that you are sampling. And again, you want to sample all layers. Right now it says current layer, so that's why nothing was happening. So I'm going to go all layers, and now it's going to pick that up, and now I can click, and it's picking up the color from what I had below. So it's not distorting, it's just getting rid of that. So I'm going to same thing here. I'm going to click my Alt key again, pick up the color that's over here, and click on this crease to get rid of that fold at the side of her mouth. There we go. Okay, I'm going to clean up around here. Okay, so with that clone tool, that was not a good one, so we're going to sample. You have to be careful. It gives you a preview of what you're going to get. So again, I'm going to hold down Alt, get a new target area, and sample that out. So that's not too bad. So you can see the difference of what I just did on this one step. So that's our mouth layer. So we'll do the next one. We'll go into the eyes. And again, I'm going to give it a name, eyes. And I will explain why I'm giving it names and keeping it separate in a minute, but I will explain. And again, I'm going to use my healing brush, and I'm going to go around the eyes, and I'm going to try and get rid of some of the spots here. And we don't want to make her look too plastic, so you don't want to get rid of everything. And again, if the crow's feet at the edges of the eyes, you want to go in but not too far, or it's going to look awkward. So we're going to go here, and a few more clicks here. That one was too much. It again did some strange things. So again, I'm going to do a few more on the forehead, and That looks not too bad. And sometimes you have to go a second time, but it's looking like she's getting a divot. So we want to make sure we do it once or twice. So we get rid of those divots. Okay. So that's not too bad. Okay. And again, I'm going to look at that. That's not too bad here. A few more spots around the eyes and the nose here. Clean up the bags under her eyes a little bit. That's not too bad either. Okay. Now, the bigger challenge for me here is that we have this crease in here, and if I just clone it, it's going to do something really strange here. So I'm going to take her makeup and I'm going to clone that. So again, I'm going to go back to my clone stamp tool, and I'm going to make it a fair bit smaller, and I'm going to hold down the Alt key for where I want to sample. And then I'm going to go up in here and just draw over that crease and add a little bit of her makeup that she had in here. And I might have to do it a few times to get just the right combination to get rid of some of that crease. And I mean, you don't want to get rid of all of her wrinkles, again, which would make her look way too young. So again, I'm going to Alt on the other eye because I'm going the other direction. I'm going to get rid of some of those points. And that's not looking too bad, not too great. It's almost too bright in there. So I'm going to go back to my healing brush tool now. And now I'm going to click and I'm going to make it smaller. And I'm going to click in here and clean that edge up. So now it looks not too bad. Okay. All right. Okay. So if we take the lines of the eyes away. Okay. So that's our basic fix. Now, with the lips, we could use the bloat tool that I showed in another demo to make them a little fuller. But I think I'm actually going to leave that. Now, the reason we did this with different layers is that we can actually go in and play with our opacity. So by bringing in the opacity down, we can actually show some of the layers through. And that allows us to get rid of, if we bring it all the way down, it's all gone. By bringing it up part of the way, we're showing some of that texture through, and that gets rid of that plasticky look. If we go right to the end, it looks a little bit spotted and a little bit modded and a little bit plasticky, and we'll go away. The reason that is, if I turn her face away, you can actually see, if I turn off both of these, you can see where we've actually done the touch-ups in the eyes and in the mouth and in the blemishes. So we turn all that on. And by giving it a little bit of transparency, you can bring some of her character back and give her some of the lines and make it look more natural. The blemishes we probably don't want to bring back, but there you can see she does look quite a bit different. And now once you're happy with all of the effects, one last thing that you want to do is overall soften the image. So what you're going to do is you're going to go on this on the picture, and you're going to make a new copy from what you can see. So what we have, we're going to right click on here, and we're going to create a new layer. So we're going to select those 4 layers together, right click, and we're going to make a new object. In here we could flatten this or merge visible. So we have this as one image now. So you can see, the difference between the original and the new one. And on here, I'm going to go in here and give it a slight blur. That's a permanent change. So we have to go into filter blur. We're going to give it a little bit of a Gaussian blur. And just enough, if you pull it too far, the whole thing will be blurry. But just enough to give her a little bit of a soft edge. And here, and again, soften her skin tones out a little bit. That'll help with the blemishes and the unevenness. We'll bring that up a little bit more. You can sort of see the detail in here. But you see how it makes the eyes blurry as well, which we don't want. So we're going to go for the skin. And we're going to say OK. So we're fine with that. Now the eyes look blurry, so that's no good. So what we're going to do is, seeing that we have the original underneath, which has the sharp eyes, we're going to create a layer mask on this layer. And on the layer, with the layer selected, we're going to take our paintbrush and again make it a size that's not too large. And then we can draw right onto the eyes with a black brush and bring the sharpness back in her eyes. So bring her eye sharpness back, bring her lip sharpness back to make them pop. So that shine comes back at the edge of her mouth. There we go. Maybe even the detail in her earring in this case, and up here in the knot in her headpiece, so that we can see that pop a little bit more. And I think I'm going to bring back a little bit of the eyebrow as well. Bring some of the texture back. So then you can play with it and see where you get the results. So by working with masking, with layers, you can create that. And you could use a blow tool to fix up some more things. So it's endless task you could do, but that's your basic touch-up.